Hello, fight fans. Seattle Mike Fights with Friends here. Everybody, please hit that like button or I'll send Dustin Poirier over to your house to kick you in the calf. Make sure that you're subscribed and don't forget to ring that bell so you're notified every time I drop a new video or go live like this Saturday for UFC 264, Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 3. That's going to be a great one. In this video, I want to talk about how Conor McGregor cannot possibly defeat Dustin Poirier in the third fight. Put your bets in, put your money in. The fight's over. The fight's over, guys. This fight should never even be happening. Okay, let's walk it back a little bit. You're like, what are you talking about, Mike? Of course Conor McGregor has a chance against Dustin Poirier. He beat him the first time, right? Yes, Conor McGregor, if he changes a lot of things, can be competitive against Dustin Poirier. But he cannot defeat Dustin Poirier in the same style as the last fight. Some people talked about Conor McGregor's leg going dead from a kick from Dustin Poirier. There was a few different excuses and things. The only thing that happened to Conor McGregor in that last fight, besides Dustin Poirier being a phenomenal lightweight and the best lightweight on the planet, not named Khabib Nurmagomedov, was Conor McGregor and his lack to do anything efficiently. Now, I want to start with the transformation of Conor McGregor. And I think this is around the time that you start to see the downfall of Conor McGregor. And a lot of people say, what do you mean the downfall, Mike? I mean, he was competitive against Khabib. Nobody had ever beaten Khabib. He beat Donald Cerrone. He beat him very quickly. And, he was outstriking Dustin Poirier in that first round before he lost the fight to Dustin. So what gives? Let's look at the body types. Let's bring this up just from 2018 to 2020. You see, the Conor McGregor in 2018, he's thicker than the first time he fought Dustin at featherweight, but he's much, much smaller than he is 2020. If you didn't know who that was, if you didn't know that was Conor McGregor, and I told you that this was the WBF, the World Bodybuilding Federation, and that it was a bodybuilding competition, I'm pretty sure most people would 100% believe me. 2018, still the body of a fighter. 2020, the body of a bodybuilder. Now, there's a lot of things going wrong with, I believe, the kind of training and the body transformation from Conor McGregor. But let's break it down specifically as to how I believe it affected him in that second fight against Dustin Poirier. Yes, the leg kicks were destructive. Dustin Poirier lands 2 good leg kicks and gets a takedown first 40 seconds of their fight. Conor McGregor, one of the things he did very well was he controlled his breathing. He kept his heart rate down when he was taken down. He seemed to be, taken aback a little bit that Dustin went for the takedown. But he got up fairly easily and then had some good moments in the clinch. One of the really bad things that Conor McGregor did, though, was while he was continuing to eat those leg kicks, no, he didn't check maybe but one of them, if any. But that's not the big issue. Conor McGregor's really never checked a lot of kicks. You watch his fight against Nate Diaz when Conor was very effective with his own leg kicks. Nate also threw a lot of leg kicks. And Conor was not checking a whole lot of those. When I was watching those in the first round where both fighters were throwing a lot of leg kicks, I think Conor checked one leg kick. The thing that Conor did differently in that fight against Nate, and of course this is when he's fighting at welterweight too, is he was up on his toes a lot more. He was up on his toes. He was moving laterally. He made Nate follow him. He was leading the dance against Nate Diaz. And he's circling. He's giving Nate Diaz angles. He's all over the place, and he's mixing it up, and he's confusing Nate Diaz in that second fight, and it was really vintage Conor McGregor, and he had done that in several fights around that time. This last fight against Dustin Poirier, I don't know if part of it was him being overconfident after the last Donald Cerrone fight, but go back and watch that fight. Did you notice that Conor McGregor did not have any lateral movement? This guy, he did not have any footwork. He looked like a 45-year-old fighter as far as his style. When you see a lot of older fighters, they're flat-footed, they're on their feet a lot. Yes, he's always had that karate stance where he puts a lot of weight, especially on that front leg. But he has never done it like he did in that fight against Dustin Poirier. Maybe a little bit against Donald Cerrone. And he was able to get Cerrone in the clinch a lot more, so I don't think it was as exposed in that fight. But Conor McGregor had several things working against him in the fight against Dustin Poirier. And it seems like they are pretty much all of his doing. No lateral footwork. Completely flat-footed. And the way he took those leg kicks. When he was fighting against Nate Diaz, and even in the first fight against Dustin Poirier, which Dustin landed some leg kicks in that fight as well, the lateral movement of Conor McGregor and just getting up on his toes just a little bit more. He's never a guy that's, really fought on his toes, but more on the balls of his feet. He was never a Muhammad Ali, dance like a butterfly kind of guy, but we've never seen him. He was like Fred Flintstone in that last fight. And when he ate those leg kicks from Dustin Poirier in their first fight, and from Nate Diaz in their second fight, he's distributing, not just the strength, the power of that leg kick across a greater part of his leg. He's not taking the full brunt of it. He's just not. He's not taking the full brunt of those leg kicks. When he was completely stationary, he's not moving to the sides, and he's eating those leg kicks. Dustin Poirier, he can just load up. This is a stationary target that he's looking at. It's just like kicking the bag all day. And of course, I don't care who you are. Your legs are going to get messed up very quickly, standing flat-footed, just eating power kicks to your calves. It's a ridiculous game plan. It's no kind of game plan at all. So Conor's going to need some of that lateral movement. He's going to need to throw more of those kicks, and he's going to need to throw some leg kicks of his own. He didn't throw a lot of his own leg kicks in that last fight. In the first Dustin Poirier fight, he did. Nate Diaz fight, he was very leg kick heavy. I don't think Conor's going to become a great leg kick checker in 6 months. That's just something that I believe takes a lot of timing and reflexes and just training your body. It's very, very hard to check a leg kick, a low leg kick coming at you. The reflexes are just, they have to be phenomenal. And another reason, I'm going to go back to one of the reasons possibly that Conor was so flat-footed and why some of those leg kicks were so devastating. When you watch Conor training before a lot of other fights, he's doing a lot of sparring, he's doing a lot of bag work, but he's doing a lot of lateral movement. Even in the training up to this fight. Go back and watch training. Just type in UFC 257 training. And you're going to see Conor McGregor in sparring and in bag work do a lot of training where he's walking straight forward. And during this fight, another thing he also did was he did not move while he was punching. Ever in the past, you might see this lateral movement like this, and he's throwing punches. And even that big left hand, let's go southpaw, he's going to be over here, and then he might throw that left hand over there. In this fight, he landed some shots against Dustin Poirier. He outstruck him in the first round. But he was a stationary target. And instead of this, when he did move, it was this. It was throw the punch, move a little bit. Throw the punch, move a little bit. And that footwork, I say, it was almost zero. And last but not least, one of the things that I think worked against him in that fight was the type of training he was doing for his legs. I've never seen his quads and his calves look so big, and I wondered why that was. And then you look back and you see him doing a lot of bike riding, a lot of Tour de France type bike riding, like up hills, things like that. I don't know how many of you guys have done like some heavy bike riding training. I used to ride my bike around everywhere, and I'll tell you guys, my calves were huge. My calves and my quads were huge. And judo, that was not such a problem because for the most part, it is a pretty straightforward sport. And you've seen Conor McGregor, he did his best work in the clinch in that fight. He was beating Dustin Poirier in the clinch, hands down. I mean, the shoulders, the elbows, he fought very well in the clinch. Now that Dustin Poirier knows what to expect, if we get the same Conor McGregor, this fight's just going to be that much worse for Conor McGregor because now Dustin, he exposed Conor. Now he knows. He doesn't have to expose him. He knows he's got a stationary target in front of him, and he knows that he can just batter those legs if Conor doesn't get up on his toes a little bit. So I'm going to tell you right now, if Conor McGregor comes into this last fight, if he's been doing most of his workout, moving straight at fighters, straight at the bag, and a lot of bike work, and he comes into this fight flat-footed without lateral movement, there is no way that Dustin Poirier will defeat Conor McGregor, and I think Dustin is going to defeat him worse, and he's going to make it look easy if Conor McGregor doesn't change the things that we talked about. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree, or if you want to add something to this, the breakdown of this fight. I'll do more breakdown videos this week coming up to UFC 264. I'll talk about some of the things Dustin did well and some of the things that he could do even better in the third fight. But just let me know what you guys think of that. I cannot wait till this Saturday for UFC 264. Guys, as always, I love you. I respect you. And I'll see your fine asses next time.